Now at 6, tragedy in Norwich. I'm Angelo Bavar with the latest on a house fire that has claimed the life of a 7-year-old girl.
The size of like a baked potato, like big suckers.
People in Torrington dealing with big suckers. They mean rats here. We'll tell you where this invasion came from and what people want their town to do about it.
I'm Kate Pattyfoot in Waterbury with a story we've been following for weeks. Impending closure of Abbott Terrace Health Center is raising concerns. Coming up, hear how this closure will impact not just patients, but staff and the community.
All local, all morning. This is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Good Wednesday morning. Thanks so much for starting yours off with us. I'm Erica Arias.
And I'm Tim Lammers. I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh at you. When you're forced to describe rats as big suckers too like that, I feel for the people in Torrington. We're going to get to that story.
Yeah, I would too. I don't want that in my neighborhood.
No,
my goodness.
Thank you. All right, like I said, we'll get to that in a minute. First though, let's check on the forecast. Meteorologist Rachel Piscatelli joins us. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Frosty start in some locations. It's chilly out there this morning, and so we have a chilly start to our afternoon, and today will be below average in terms of our temperatures as well, with a mix of sun and clouds. So freeze early Thursday morning as well. So we are going to be watching a hard freeze for some locations, putting an end to our growing season. Right now on our satellite and radar, they're mostly quiet. There could be a stray shower or sprinkle early on, but for the most part, we are trending dry across the state with temperatures that are in the 30s, 38 degrees in Waterbury, 37 right now in Torrington, upper 30s in Willimantic, and the mid 40s in New Haven right now as well. So to chilly start with a mix of sun and clouds this afternoon. It will be rather nice. However, our temperatures will struggle this afternoon, only in the mid to upper 50s. Towards this evening, temperatures roll back. So by the overnight hours, temperatures will be dropping back into the 30s across the state for most of us. So we have this freeze morning in effect till Thursday morning at 9 a.m. for the majority of the state. More details on that, plus a warm up on the way, coming up in just a bit. 6:02 on the roads this morning here. Over in Hartford, things are looking good with light volume. We'll take a live look outside there where you can see the light volume that's on the roads on 84. And over in Hartford, Windsor to the 84 interchange is 3 minutes. Newport and Ave to the Hartford Tunnel. Erica and Tim, 5.
Okay, Rachel, thank you. We certainly appreciate it.
All right, 6:02. A family in Norwich forever changed this morning after a house fire claimed the life of a 7-year-old girl.
Yeah, the fire happened last night on Summit Street. Fox 61's Angelo Bavaro joins us live outside that house now with the latest on what happened.
Tim, Erica, good morning. The fire chief called this a nightmare call. Devastation all around. Now, that little girl who died has not been identified by police just yet, and the investigation into what started this fire, that is still underway. In the meantime, the scars from this tragedy still very visible, even in the dark. Take a look at this. This is the house where this happened. Residential area around here. It is a mess. The front of it, black. You can see windows that were blown out, boarded up, debris all over the place in the front. It is absolutely devastating to look at. Now, the Norwich Fire Department got that call just before 5:30 last night. Crews responded within minutes to find this 2-story house fully engulfed. The fire chief says a mother and 3 kids were home at the time. She and 2 of those kids, who the fire chief believes were around 5 and 12, they did make it out. The 7-year-old was trapped. Crews were able to get in and pull that girl out from the 2nd floor. She was then taken to the hospital where she sadly died.
We did have live wires burning in the street and in the yard. They had burned off the side of the building, so we did have a hazard there for the firefighters and the crews and the police officers on scene. I arrived shortly after the first engine company. Again, they had water flowing. There was fire showing from the front door, 2 windows on the 1st floor, 2 windows on the 2nd floor.
And the fire chief says there is a lot of damage on the 1st floor of this house, but still too soon to know exactly where or how this fire started. Norwich schools will have grief counselors on site for anybody who needs that additional support. Still waiting on more details at this point. We're live in Norwich. I'm Angelo Bavar, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Angela, thank you. Well, a Seymour man is behind bars this morning on sexual assault and kidnapping charges. Police said he assaulted 2 children in the last 10 years.
And they said that the most recent case happened last week in Waterbury near Fulton Park. Fox 61's Julia LeBlanc has the story.
45-year-old Michael DeWitt is now in the custody of New Haven police. We'll get to that part of this case in just a moment. But first, Waterbury police say DeWitt was allegedly hanging around near Fulton Park last week when he lured a little girl into his truck.
We have good memories of the park.
Many Waterbury neighbors, like Janeth Merchan, grew up playing in and around Fulton Park, something police say a little girl was doing last week when a heinous act occurred.
It's unfortunate that's happening this close, and there's a lot of kids in this neighborhood, as you can tell.
Waterbury police say last Wednesday at 7 p.m., officers were called to Cook Street near the park for a report of a kidnapping and sexual assault involving a minor. When officers got here, they found the young girl surrounded by neighbors.
They did call police immediately to report this incident and kept the girl safe until police arrival.
Chief Fernando Spagnolo says earlier that night, the girl, who was under the age of 13, was with a group of people at the park. That's when they say she was lured into this pickup truck by a man now identified as 45-year-old Michael DeWitt. Police say DeWitt sexually assaulted the girl, who later escaped just outside the park.
Through the course of the investigation, we learned that the New Haven Police Department also had an interest in DeWitt. There was a past sexual assault warrant.
Investigators learned there was a recent arrest warrant out for DeWitt involving another alleged assault of a minor dating back to 10 years ago. 2 days after this latest incident, police found DeWitt.
Eventually, DeWitt and his vehicle were located in West Haven. He was taken into custody, and he's currently in custody, being arraigned today on those charges from New Haven.
Now, as officers thank the community for stepping in, they're asking parents to have a talk, especially with their young children.
It's really important to talk about strangers and the risk that they may pose, and making sure that children understand that unless they really know a person, they should certainly not get in a vehicle or go into a house or go into any type of location with them.
Now, DeWitt is expected to appear in a Waterbury courtroom on Wednesday, where he'll face 7 charges. In the meantime, officers say if there's anyone else out there who believes they may have been a victim of DeWitt's, to please contact your local police department. We are in Waterbury. Julia LeBlanc, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Julia, thanks so much. Well, people in Torrington say they are frustrated with their new neighbors. Rats. They say rats are taking over their streets and their homes. Fox 61's Kaylee Collins has more on the growing rodent population there.
Well, it's unsettling to say the least for those living in and around the Jardin Street area here in Torrington. Some are dealing with dozens of rats scurrying around their garages and porch areas, while others are now reluctantly sharing their living space with what's been described as pretty sizable rodents.
The size of like a baked potato, like big suckers.
Like New York City rats, like sewer rats.
Torrington residents are working to evict rats that have moved in without warning.
And they'll come wherever they can. They can get through any small hole.
Complaints are coming from around the Jardin and McGinnis Street areas, not far from where the former Torrington Company factory once stood. Those dealing with the rat invasion say they think the recent demolition of that building is what's causing the problem.
Now we have rats, and I think because of the building being taken down the road, a lot of my neighbors down the road, a lot of them have had rat issues now, which we've never had issues like this before.
Rats have nestled into this family's garage, tearing holes in the walls and leaving piles of feces.
Oh my God, it makes me want to move. We have 2 traps out. We've been catching 2 every night for the past like 2 to 3 weeks. We've gotten like 23 now so far as our total.
Across the street, the rodents have made their way inside the house.
I own a daycare here, so it's been terrible. I had to throw most of the stuff I had downstairs in the daycare away. They're eating my shoes and the stuff that I just bought for my kids.
Residents have called town officials and were told help would be on its way later this week, though exact details were unclear. The hope is that assistance will arrive before these rats multiply.
Fix the issue. I know it's a good thing to take the building down. It'll make the town look pretty, but at the end of the day, it hurts other people in the community too.
Definitely need to remediate and just provide
some guidance to all the residents as to what's going on and look into that, because no one wants to see or have rats in their home.
And we did reach out to the Torrington mayor's office for comment on this growing rat situation, and we have yet to hear back. Reporting in Torrington, Kaylee Collins, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Kaylee, thank you. Well, people who live or work at Abbott Terrace Health Center in Waterbury are calling on the state for help. They held a rally yesterday to protest that nursing home's closure. The center lost federal funding for not meeting health and safety standards. Fox 61's Kate Pattyfoot has that story.
Employees say they were given less than a day of notice that they were no longer going to be employed at Abbott Terrace in Waterbury. Patients and family members are devastated that their loved ones will have to be transferred somewhere else. Since the news about Abbott Terrace closing, the atmosphere has changed in these hallways, and the calls to keep the nursing home open are growing louder from many within the community.
Now when I go into Abbott, all I see is sadness. Sometimes they don't want to eat, they don't sleep, and mostly you see the sadness in their eyes.
We're calling directly on Governor Lamont, DSS Commissioner Barton Reeves, and DPH Commissioner Johanny to ask the federal government to continue Medicare and Medicaid payments to Abbott Terrace to keep it open.
Political and healthcare leaders in our state say they are doing everything they can to keep Abbott Terrace open. In Waterbury, Kate Pattyfoot, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.